Welcome to Sociology Vibes, where we simplify challenging ideas into easy to understand insights. Today, our focus is on the main founder of sociology, Émile Durkheim. Sociologist Émile Durkheim, it can be said, put sociology on the map, and he's also considered the father of the functionalist theory in sociology. Durkheim was a French sociologist who lived from 1858 to 1917 and played an important role in establishing sociology as a social science. He believed that society should be studied objectively using the scientific method and argued that society and social forces shape how individuals think and act. Central to this idea was his belief that society is more than just a group of individuals. He explained that social facts are the ways of thinking and behaving that exist outside of the individual, yet strongly influence people. Examples of social facts include laws, language, religious beliefs, cultural norms, and traditions. According to Durkheim, individuals are shaped by these social facts, even when we may not be aware of this influence. We might not notice it or understand it. For example, why do people stop at red lights when nobody is around, modify their appearance depending on the setting, and speak differently to people based on their social status or authority? These are all examples of the power of external social facts on our own lives that we take for granted. Durkheim was the first person to say that society is more than just a group of individuals. Rather, there's something about society that shapes and gives us a sense of belonging. And he proposed answering these questions using the tools of science. Durkheim introduced the concept of the collective consciousness, which he defined as the shared beliefs, values, and moral attitudes of society. It is how people think about right and wrong, acceptable behavior, and social expectations. According to Durkheim, a collective consciousness among people produces social solidarity, or the social bonds that hold people together. This social unity maintains stability and social order in society, or as Durkheim believed, social cohesion. Durkheim's influential study on suicide was first published in 1897. It is considered one of the first major sociological studies using statistical data to explain how social facts influence individual behavior. Even though the taking of one's own life is an individual act, Durkheim found measurable patterns that could predict which categories of people are more or less likely to commit suicide. These patterns demonstrated that suicide is not a random or even an individual act. Rather, there are social causes and explanations. Today, the study of the influence of social forces on our lives is a given in sociology. Yet these findings were groundbreaking when Durkheim published them. Durkheim explained that suicide is connected to social control. Individuals who faced too much social regulation or too little social integration were at risk of suicide. For example, people who feel alone and disconnected from others may struggle with too little social integration. At the same time, people who feel extreme pressure to meet social expectation, such as intense academic, workplace, or family demands, can experience too much social regulation. Durkheim believed that too much social regulation or too little social integration have a negative influence on people's lives. When society provides too little guidance, or when social rules become unclear, people may feel disconnected or uncertain about their place in society, and he called this anomie. When the social rules that normally guide people's behaviors begin to weaken or break down, Durkheim referred to anomie as normlessness. Anomie can occur during times of rapid social change, economic disruption, or major societal transitions. When social norms and expectations that guide people become unclear or missing, individuals feel disconnected and uncertain. Durkheim's ideas and research established sociology as a scientific discipline and introduced important concepts that continue to shape how sociology studies social life today. In short, Durkheim believed that to understand individuals, we must also understand the social facts that influence how people think, behave, and interact in society. In studying Durkheim's ideas about social life, this allows us to understand why people follow social rules, what holds communities together, and what happens when these connections weaken. In our everyday lives, we can apply Durkheim's ideas by paying attention to the social ties we have with our families, friends, schools, workplaces, and communities, and by recognizing how these connections influence our behavior and sense of belonging in society. And that makes sociology worth exploring further, don't you think? Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment below with your thoughts, questions, or any topics you'd like us to explore next. Let's keep the conversation going and our community growing. See you in the next Sociology Vibes video.